Happy Halloween, y'all. What's going on, man? Welcome back to Israel's Movie Reviews. And today we're going to be discussing a legendary movie. And we're going to start off by getting serious now. Get off of me. Just having a little fun with y'all, man, because this is what we're going to be talking about now. I look forward to this one discussing many films, but we got to start off with the big one, right? We're going to start off with Halloween 1978, where it all started. This movie, short summary for y'all, if you guys living under a rock, this movie is it's really sentimental to me because it was one of the first iconic movies I got to see young. You know, in 1963, a young Michael Myers kills his sister with a large butcher knife and then spends the next 15 years of his life silently locked up in an institute. And his doctor, Mr. Samuel Loomis, basically tries to walk through all these years with him as his doctor. And basically that sets up his maniac ways as he enters adulthood. And he has this relentless idea that he's going to go and stop through nothing to kill Lori, who he thinks is his sister. And that changes throughout the whole consistency of that franchise. But we're going to, get right into it. There were a lot of movies that basically in the 90s, 80s, this one came in the late 70s, and it's still coming with us today. Just next Friday, we have, Halloween Ends coming out. And that's a testament to this movie, how well it did with basically a $300,000 budget. John Carpenter took this low budget film and he scared a generation of moviegoers. And, that plays up to today. This movie is so iconic. He showed that you don't need a big budget. You don't need 8, 9 figures to evoke fear, on an audience. And he did just that. He did just that with nothing, because sometimes the best element of fear is not actually what happens, but what's about to happen, right? And in this movie, man, we got nothing but jump scares and very amazing ways. Things that you don't really expect to happen, they happen, especially in this film. You ask yourself, what was that? What was lurking? What was in the shadow? And it's him stalking girls, So, he knows that there are ways to scare someone by using simple things. What's that upstairs? What's that noise? You feel that? Ooh, right? And I think at this time, he was the best at it, He had The Thing. He had not only these franchises, he had other films, He's the man behind Escape from New York, Escape from LA. This man was a genius. And for him to show his directing skills in this film, basically with nothing, I think was a testament to him and Deborah Hill. And I even think, he made every element of this. If you look through the film, and it's a textbook horror movie. And many people could go ahead and use the same template. Everything that he made up or his own ideas, people use today. And, no one uses lighting and detail to provoke scares like he did in this film. There's rarely any special effects. Everything's practical. The rivers of blood, you could tell, very, very practical. And it's not the same when you use CGI or green screen or anything like that, especially when it comes to horror. Horror should be, when you're talking about special effects, in horror, it should be very, very, very minimal. It's the moments when the killer's lurking somewhere, you just don't know where, that scare you. And that's always going to be in a horror film. If you have that main component, you got yourself something like this. And Halloween succeeds like no other film in its genre, in my humble opinion. We have movies in this genre, such as, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street. You have The Exorcist, Angel Heart, such movies as Pumpkinhead. You have so many movies that'll scare you in different ways. But what Carpenter's done is taking a haunting score I can't do it right now because I'm a little hoarse. But what he did with that was he gave you this menacing score with not the best lighting techniques, and wrote and directed a very tightly paced, I think, masterpiece of horror. There's one scene that has to be described, and that's the scene where, well, there's many scenes actually. The one with Annie, that she thought that she forgot her keys. She forgets her keys, comes back, and all of us know what's gonna happen because all of us see. She went to go get her keys, comes back, doesn't put the key in the car, opens the car. Like, the car was open already. And then it's all fogged up. Obviously, somebody's in it. Guess who? Michael, right? That's just one scene. There's another scene where Laurie's singing to herself, right? Walking down the block. And that's all you hear, breathing, until you see Michael just looking at her from behind. Things like that, you know, things like that really haunt you. And I don't know, I'm a sucker for this movie. You know, Halloween uses blurry images of Michael Myers, which is the killer, right, standing in the background. It has shadows gliding across walls. You have dark rooms in this film. You know, creepy, haunting music is, to me, what is satisfying and what kills the story in a positive way. You know, this is a very menacing movie. Donald Pleasance, I think, plays Loomis to a T. He's one of the best parts of the original film. He's relentless, just as Michael Myers is relentless in his pursuit. I think, you know, Carpenter was a big fan of Alfred Hitchcock, and you could tell he followed his footsteps. And, you know, many directors should follow in these same footsteps. I think these horror movies will be way better than what they were, even though this year, you know, I think we've been on fire, you know, with the horror movies. But Halloween, this original movie, personifies everything that scares us. If you're tired of all the mindless horror films and you don't know the difference between evil and cuteness, then Halloween is a film that you gotta see. It won't let you down. I think this is one of the best franchises. A lot of people will disagree with me and say that, you know, 3, 4, and 5 might be, but I think all these movies in this, except for the Rob Zombie films, and we'll get to those eventually, but I think this franchise kills it. You know, I think Halloween is one of those movies that you definitely got to see every year when Halloween comes. I enjoy being scared. I don't know why, but I do. You know, there's nothing like a good scare, especially from the 90s, man. Any of those movies. And, you know, you just have to see this. It's one of those influential all-time films. You know, John Carpenter's Halloween is the reason why I believe this particular genre exists, the slasher, right? I just exist in the first place. You know, movies like this birthed Jason, Chucky, and, you know, the list goes on. You know what I mean? It wasn't the first of its kind, but it certainly was a game changer for almost every other slasher flick that ever originated after the 80s. And you definitely gotta go check this out. This is my personal favorite horror film of all time. The story, simple, stalking, babysitting, there's no bells and whistles, just the basics, and that's what you want. The events are telegraphed, but in advance, and they occur at random times. So this is definitely one of those movies. If you want a jump scare, this is your movie. If you want a sadistic killer, this is your movie. If you have family and you love family, this is your movie. Just go check this out, man. This movie to me would always be a 10 out of 10. If you like this review, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, man. That's important. And thanks for rocking with me. We're going to continue along with this Halloween theme as we continue. And I look forward to you on the next video. Peace.